Good morning or good afternoon. We are pleased to join you virtually today. We thought we'd try something new to go ahead and front load you with the slides and the video so you can kind of think through it with your colleagues. And then we can all come back together in a couple weeks to really kind of deconstruct them with one another. It give you an opportunity to really grow in community with those that do the exact same thing you do in your sister districts, and then us be there to be able to support that. So we're going to kick it off. Please know that we will follow up with links and the slides, and as you have questions, because we know you will, as we're going through this, just like we always do, at the very end, we are going to add a link to, we may throw it in earlier, a link to I still have questions. And so what we want to do is to create an FAQ document. So when we do meet in person in a couple weeks, we will have already answered your questions. And of course, we know when we meet, there will be more questions. So as usual, we're following the same structure that we always do. Please know if you're watching this now, this kind of gives you an idea if you need to like fast forward to another section because these fall under your wheelhouse, or if you need to go grab a friend next door and say, hey, pop in and watch this with me in a few minutes. Please know that that's available to you. All these are hyperlinked, so when you have the slides, just know you can kind of click on them to get where you need to go. So before I pass it off to the folks that have the really good information, I just want to introduce myself if I haven't already met you. I'm Melissa Shields. I am the Assistant State Superintendent over the Office of Student Learning. I love to share my Girl Scout badges. They keep growing because we keep coming up with new logos that we like. But a lot of times in my role, folks ask me, what do you do? What falls, under you, and how do you support that? So if you're looking at the screen, you'll see, of course, the Alabama Reading Initiative, ATM, Alex, Instructional Services. I mean, I could just see AMSTI, School Improvement. I mean, you can see them for yourself. Absenteeism or attendance, MBCT or Office of Extended Learning, so many professional learning. There are all of these wonderful things. And I am so honored to be in a space that I can have conversations with each group that represents each of these circles that you see to consider how we can provide aligned support to you and be a blessing to you, whatever that would be. I want you to know that we spend a lot of time meeting offsite to have conversations about how we can work together so that when you call three from these different areas, I know I've got friends from career tech here, special education. We've got folks from all over the department that wanted to be here today to be able to say, we are aligned in this work for curriculum instruction, whether it lives in the Office of Student Learning or it lives in another division. Even today, or whenever you watch this, and on the 23rd when we're meeting, we will be meeting in the afternoon to have conversations about, okay, what are the things that we heard today from the schools that we support, and how can we be better thought partners to them? I do hope that you find our offices are very responsive. We try to make sure that when we receive a question from you, we know that you've probably already gone to 2 or 3 people, but please know that you can reach out to me or any one of my staff to support you. Now, I don't have to tell you this because you already know, but one of the things when I was a curriculum director and would attend meetings like this, I always wanted nuggets that I could take back to my Board of Education, to the teachers and the principals that I serve. So we always try to give you some slides to take back. It's about some really great things that are happening in our state, many of which, of course, you know because we're all talking about them. I see Bonnie Short in my line of vision. Bonnie and I were in DC, or the DC area, Arlington and DC later in the week, last week, and it was just wonderful to be able to talk about the tremendous success the entire country is talking about Alabama for academics, for attendance, and so many other things. So this is a graphic that we've been sharing for a number of months now that shows how we've gone from 52 to 32 in math, 49 to 34th. That we're first in the country for math recovery and third, and we are still growing. We love that data, but we feel this sense of urgency to make sure that we are keeping that needle moving forward. Just some other things that are newer. This came out in June. This is just, and there's several, and I'll make sure I provided links if you wanted to get some sound bites to send to your folks. But Alabama is the only state to earn a strong rating from the National Council of Teacher Quality for its strategy for improving math instruction. I love that Alabama, in fact, was the lone state to show an increase in average fourth grade math. So we're just super excited about that. We loved it, talked about coaching, about the relationship that classroom teachers have with their coaches, how the administrators and the principals and the district folks are being part of those conversations and really leaning in toward what it takes to be that professional standing in front of children every single day. Um, we had a lot of conversation about this in DC last week. Anytime a southern state, we all sat up a little stronger, a little taller. But this southern surge, we keep seeing articles come out about what's going on in the South. And just tell me, see where I want to pick here. On the new NAEP, just two states, Alabama and Louisiana, had math or reading scores that were higher than they were before COVID. Alabama was first in math recovery and third in reading, and it goes on to talk about the things that our state has doing. Dr. Mackey has gone around the country. A lot of folks want to know, what are we doing? And there's so many things. I think when we really think about it, and Dr. Mackey has certainly focused on this as a construct for the things that really helped turn this work around, was alignment. That our department is still trying to figure a way, how can we do less with greater focus? How can we give you an opportunity to do what you need to do? And really thinking about all of these people that are involved in our conversation today, how we can come together and really create a tapestry of support for each of you. This came out just a few weeks ago, talking about turning the tide with high quality instructional materials, professional learning and coaching, just some great data. And of course, we have some great high school data. Since we've met, we're really looking at our graduation rates and our CCR rate, both the highest in the state's history. That is really affirming. I know Sean and I have had some great conversations with College Board. We're very, very excited with the things that we're seeing with our AP and our PSATs, with our ACTs. This came out in June, talking about particularly our reading. And if you remember, I think in the spring, maybe in the winter, I shared with you an article, I believe that maybe AL.com had done, and it was talking about looking at our ACAP data, that the students in the schools that had the most to grow were the ones that were growing exponentially. And we're seeing that for a second year in a row, that the biggest gains in the percentage of third graders clearing that reading benchmark have occurred predominantly in rural school systems in the Black Belt. Just a tremendous article, very affirming, but so inspiring to see how folks are being really nimble to support the needs of their students and their communities. And I know that Wilcox County is in here somewhere if you're watching this. And there was an amazing article. Bonnie, when was this? Like a week or two ago, really talking about Wilcox County. I'm just going to read a soundbite here. Wilcox County schools have the highest rate of economic disadvantage in the state, with 91% of their students automatically qualifying for free lunch. Yet, in spite of that economic disadvantage, Wilcox County third graders were among the state's top performers on the spring reading test, with 96% of their students clearing the benchmark for grade level promotion. That is just amazing. And I don't know if you can see this really well, but let's see if it'll show my mouse here. So here is Wilcox County, and we can see the percentage of their students that are at grade level, and we can see where they fall for a percent free lunch. That is just an incredible testimony, and we just really wanted to spotlight the incredible work that Wilcox County and so many other schools around the state are doing. Also, for the second or maybe Sean, third year, I mean, like it feels like we've been saying this now for a number of years, but Alabama is at the very top, or I guess if you want to look at it, at the very bottom. But in terms of the best attendance, we have the lowest chronic absence in the country. We are tied with New Jersey. We're really, really proud of that. We know that that has a lot to do with our continued momentum, that our students are in school and that we were able to make sure that we're filling in gaps as they come. So if you're new, so when you start a job, you think, okay, so when I was in my previous job, so when I was a curriculum director, these are the things that I would like. And I'm looking at my team here, and we really get together. We meet every Tuesday, and we're like, okay, what are the things that we've been told we need to do better? What are the ways that we can align work? How can we be more receptive? But how can we give you what you need? So if you're new, We want to make sure that you have access to our brand new, it's not brand new anymore. Like we've had it for a while now. It's new. It's new. It's not brand new, but we have a new website. It is awesome. We have really worked hard to make sure that you can find what you need, preferably within 3 clicks. If you can't find what you need within 3 clicks, you need to let me know. If you can't find what you're looking for at all, you need to let me know, and we'll make sure that it gets added. But the state website, of course, is still there, Alabama Achieves, and the consumer is really our stakeholders, those that are needing some more static information. Our IT folks call this website an extranet. So this is for you. You are the consumer. Our educators, our principals, our district leaders are like, I need this fast. Also know that probably for at least for the OSL home site, probably the document that gets the most traction is our OSL running updates, and it goes back years. So all of the things that are coming down the pike, we update this almost daily. So if you click on that, you will see things that happened yesterday that you need to know. But let's say you're like, I need to look up something from, I don't know, option B, because we still get a lot of questions about option B. Just go to that document, do a keyword search for option B, and you'll find in July or June, this is where we provide, here's the FAQ, here's the recording. So anything that you're looking for, save yourself some time. Just do a keyword search. But the things that are happening now, you'll see this is updated every month and it goes back years. So definitely take a look at that. If you can't find something, normally you can find it there. But also know the website. I was just sharing Bonnie's website when I was in DC last week because I was needing some information about what we're doing for struggling readers beyond third grade. I went to her beautiful website and I was able to just click, 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 and share some PDFs right away. Not to say anything negative about the state website, but this is just a way to be able to get it in your hands a little bit faster. Another thing that we hear this time of year, where is it? It's done. It's actually been done for a few weeks, and I think I sent a message out about it a while ago. It's also on our OSL running updates. The Office of School Improvement does an amazing job. It is an incredible amount of work, and I'm so appreciative. I saw Dr. Garner in my peripheral vision. I know this takes a ton of work, but if you will click on the principal calendar, the district curriculum calendar, these are calendars that are centric to what are the things an Alabama accomplished principal should be doing month to month. And then many of you started texting me and emailing me and like, what about hook a friend up? We need one for the curriculum people. So we got busy. And so I think this might be the third year, maybe the fourth. It's all running together now. That we have if you serve at the district level in curriculum instruction, even if it's content specific, you're an assistant superintendent, you're a deputy superintendent. These are those things that are happening. And as best we could, Joe's team really tried to put hyperlinks. I'll just show a quick screenshot of it and then go back to the others. But here's one from July. And you can see here's the things that a principal needs to be thinking about, planning, developing, implementing, and wherever possible, we were sure we tried to include the direct links. Stacy Royster, who couldn't be with us today, but does an amazing job keeping us all informed with PowerSchool updates. She messaged us. She said, I really like, the way OSI has set up the calendar. So you'll see her school student information system calendar looks almost identical to the others, so it should be really comfortable. And then we also, we get a lot of questions about those mandatory trainings that we have to do every year. There are a couple new laws that passed in this last legislative session. So we update this every year. You have access to that too. And we tried to break it into sections. So if you needed something quick, we also hyperlink the principal calendar and the curriculum leader calendar and the SIS calendar. But do know that all of that has been updated and shared, and you have access to this. Now, I'll tell you what a lot of districts do. And if I was still sitting in my old seat, I would do this too. For the principal calendar, for the district calendar, I would download it or whatever you call it. I put it in my Google Drive because these are all Google documents. I would slap my district's name or my school's name. I would add my own local events and we'd have one calendar. I might get rid of some things that I felt like don't need to be in the principal calendar or don't need to be in the and have a document that is something that is specific to the needs of my school or my district. But use it any way that is a blessing to you. It is not meant to be a compliance document in any way. It is really meant to be a thought partnership with you to say, hey, here's some things to think about. And with that, I think I'm passing the virtual Frisbee to Dr. Coleman. You should have power.
Thank you, Dr. Shields, and thanks everybody for joining us here today. I just, in interest of preserving your time, I will be brief, but one thing I do need to address is the regional in-service centers. Whenever we talk about professional learning in the state, they are your first stop. And as a district and a school, you should reach out to your local in-service center and find out how they can support you and your teachers in improving teaching and learning in your classrooms. But now they need your help. Every fall, they do their needs assessment to find out how to better target their professional learning to your needs. This QR code on this page will take you directly to a Outlook form, a Microsoft form, to fill out to let them know, both your teachers and your administrators, what they feel are the areas that need to be stressed. Where do your teachers feel like they could use some professional development? Where do administrators see the needs? And you can answer these questions via the QR code, or you can just manually enter the bit.ly link below, bit.ly/EricNeeds2526. That is case sensitive, so be sure and capitalize that right there. This survey, this needs assessment, is open about another 3 weeks. So please, not only do we ask all members of all the LEAs to respond, but please share that with your teachers, share that with your local school personnel, so we can get their feedback as well, so the in-service centers can better support you in your mission. So the Alabama Teacher Growth Program consists of 4 main sections. The self-assessment, where we all should be familiar with this, where teachers and administrators can review where they believe they are in their professional practice. The Alabama Teacher Observation Tool, ATOT. It is a formative observation tool, and every teacher should have at least one 20-minute observation over the course of the year. So please don't put this off until April. The servers feel the strain then, but if you would, it's a formative tool. So please use this tool, have your administrators on the local level at the school use this tool with your teachers so that they can get the feedback they need to improve over the course of the year. There's also the professional learning plan, where the teacher sits with their administrators and works out what sort of professional learning that they would need to improve things they believe that could be strengthened in their classroom. And there's also the professional practices diagnostic. Now, this is an optional tool, and this helps teachers look at their actions and behaviors, things that weren't observed directly by the ATOT, and let the local administrator provide some formative feedback to those teachers about how to become a better teacher. I'm not going to read the screen to you, but I just want to point out a couple of things on this. The Alabama Teacher Growth Program aligns with ESSA and aligns with the core teaching standards. And so this is the way we improve education in the state. We let the teachers know, let them look at where you feel they're lacking, where they feel they're lacking, and develop a path for that. There are 5 dimensions that are observed on ATOT. These all align with the core teaching standards, and it includes all classroom teachers, both on the core content and elective teachers. Once again, all teachers one observation every year, but it does not include your librarians, your counselors, your administrators, your instructional coaches. It is strictly for your teachers. And every year we get a little feedback that this person's not working with ATGP, and we find out that they're a librarian or a counselor. It's an easy fix. They're not required to do this, but all your teachers should have at least one observation every year. ATGP is not a checklist for your admins. It is not a summative evaluation. It is not a way to brand a teacher as ineffective. It is merely to let teachers improve in their professional practice. And I said merely, that's a big job. We are looking for teachers to be better for our students and for our state. So this is not a punitive tool. It is a tool strictly to improve teaching and learning. You will have a member of your LEA, more likely than not the superintendent, that will need to log into AIM and to the teaching effectiveness tile first. And then they will be given the option, 3 options actually, and they must choose one of them before the ATGP can proceed for the year. Option 1, we're going to use teaching effectiveness using the complete set of indicators, as we said, that align with the core teaching standards. Option 2 is we are going to assign as a district our teachers to use specific standards, and we're all going to work on those together. So if there's a perceived weakness or something that needs to be strengthened in an individual school or in the system, option 2 would be the way to go. And that way all teachers can agree we're going to work on these indicators. Option 3, you may have your own program. There are a few systems within the state that have spent a great deal of effort developing their own teaching, evaluation, and professional learning platform. And this is the place you would let us know that. Another issue for this to work is everybody must be correct in education directory. This 9 times out of 10 is where the issues can be fixed. So if you're a teacher in education directory under application access, all teachers should be given teaching effectiveness school edit rights. It reads as seen on the screen, application user that can edit all school data. And I know many people say, well, it said all school data. That seemed wrong to give a teacher. I'm not sure where that vernacular came from. This is the teacher's assignment. So all teachers must have teaching effectiveness application user that can edit all school data. Principals and assistant principals need the teaching effectiveness certify rights for the school. And this will allow them to do evaluations and perform these, the ATOT evaluation on the teachers, and it will allow seamless working between our platform and Cognia. So they will need teaching effectiveness certified. If a teacher or an administrator is given both teaching effectiveness edit and teaching effectiveness certify, their particular login will not work. So if they are a principal and they're supposed to be evaluating everyone and they have both sets, the teachers will not be able to see them as an administrator and vice versa. You will not be able to do the evaluation. If a teacher gets both of them, the principal will be unable to see them to perform the evaluation. So always be sure that your teacher has edit, your principal has certify, and not both. A district administrator who's going to be working in the LEAD platform will need teaching effectiveness edit all system data. And that will open up the LEAD platform for the professional development of our district administrators. Finally, I have the timeline here. This bit.ly link will take you to see exactly when the deadlines for the teacher growth program are for the 25-26 school year. Tomorrow is the deadline for all evaluatees. I say tomorrow at the time of this filming. By the time you receive this deadline will already be gone for everyone to log into AIM. So all evaluees and evaluators should be logged into AIM just to make sure they can, that they show up in the system, that they have the correct email addresses, everything like that. That should be done already at the point of this viewing. By the 1st of October, all evaluatees should have completed the self-assessment. So if it's a personnel that's going to be evaluated, teachers, they will have already needed to finish the self-assessment by October 1. Also, professional learning plans should be generated by that point. And then we have deadlines over the course of the year. They're seen here, but those are the ones that we're looking down the barrel of. So please be sure to make sure all your evaluatees and evaluators have logged into AIM, and by October 1st have done the self-assessment for teachers, for all evaluatees, and all evaluatees and evaluators, they need to have done the professional learning plan. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at the Professional Learning Office. Our number is 334-694-4886. That's the direct line to our office, and someone will be glad to help you if you're having any issues. For information specifically about the Principal Leadership Development System, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Anna Shepard-Jones.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. And if you're able to, there we go, advance that slide for me. Much appreciated. My name is Anna Shepard-Jones, and I'm also in the professional learning section, and I help support the implementation of the Principal Act and the APLDS program. Now, since it's so new, I still like to go ahead and remind folks that that stands for the Alabama Principal Leadership Development System. So I want to go over a few things with you today. First, some legislative changes. So we want to make sure that you're aware of these new changes that went into effect this past legislative session. The primary differences you can see in that column to the right. There's a new statute, and in the red font, you can see what those changes are. But the primary differences are a new and polished definition of what is an assistant principal, and also a revised definition of a principal. And it includes roles and responsibilities such as supervising teachers and managing the day-to-day schedule and operations. So you can get more guidance about which of our school administrators are going to be eligible for the Principal Act stipend. There's also been a revised definition for identifying high poverty schools and low performing schools. And as a reminder, we have for the Principal Act stipend, we have two different supplements. We have the base supplement. So that's for principals and APs who have met the eligibility requirements. And they've also successfully completed all program requirements. And then the additional supplement are supposed to be for those schools that are hard to staff, and they experience those challenges and barriers such as high poverty and low performing. So that criteria has changed. So we want you to be aware of that change for this year. Now, next, we'll just quickly recap about what the program requirements are if a principal or AP, if they're eligible for the Principal Act stipend. And so as a reminder, they need to complete at least 30 APLDS clock hour credits. I also want to lift up that a reminder that this law, the Principal Act, is also connected to the Literacy Act and the Numeracy Act. So if a principal or assistant principal has grade levels K through 3 on their campus, then they are also required to participate in early literacy professional learning, and that's provided by ARI and their team. And for early numeracy, that's if you have students that are K-5 at your building, and we do have offerings from OMI and also Math Foundational Professional Learning from AMSTI. So it has to be on that list in order to meet the requirements of this law. I also want to point out that the next requirement is a completion of the APLDS evaluation system. There is an additional step this year. So last year we had 4 steps. This year we have 3. It's certification of stipend eligibility. And really the purpose of this was that we had individuals who had completed the program last year, our first year of implementing this, and did not realize that they did not meet the eligibility criteria. So it came to be around June, July, and they're seeing their colleagues get a check, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, why am I not getting that stipend as well?" And they didn't meet certain eligibility criteria, like having your leadership certificate, being full time. So the purpose of this step is to really get them familiar with what the criteria are on the front end rather than waiting to the end of the school year. So if you want more information about the evaluation system, you can go to alabamaprincipals.org and you can click on the evaluation system tab and you can see video tutorials and step-by-step directions to help you know how to navigate that platform. And then lastly, if you have a new principal, now this is somebody who is new to the principalship, not that they're new to your district or new to the state of Alabama, but never been a principal before, they'll also have to complete a state approved new principal mentoring program for 2 consecutive years. Now, there were some things that last year in terms of data integrity that we're really hoping you could help us out with for this year. And if somebody who has access to the slides, if you don't mind going to that next slide for me. So just some things to think about. There are a lot of data that needed to be cleaned up so that we can correctly identify those who are eligible for the Principal Act stipend. And it was just human errors that just needed to be cleaned up. But if you can help us now take care of these things, this will make a much smoother process when we go into the fall and we're identifying and developing that eligibility list. So making sure the financial records that's free of errors. So you have some common listings of what we found here. You also have some resources to help you. Things like what Dr. Coleman was saying in EdTech, that they need to be correctly identified in the staff position at the right school. And then in Power School, we do go through a stipend eligibility validation process to make sure that you are a full-time administrator. So you're not teaching a course and you're not attached to a course in Power School SIS. So that's data that we'll take a look at as well. Now, the next slide, I want to point out a great and new resource that we have available for you. If you are not familiar with alabamaprincipals.org website, please take a look at it. This is everything you can find, a one-stop shop with all things related to the Principal Act and the APLDS program, and including this framework. So the design team, they took about a year to build out this resource for you. So it really gets into what the standards are, some strategies to help implement the new standards. And as a team up under the Office of Student Learning and even talking with finance, we all got together for many months and said, okay, we know that you help support principals and assistant principals. What are some good protocols and resources and tools that you all use that we can put into the framework so they have access to it in all in one place? And so I hope you'll find lots of different Easter eggs embedded in that framework if you go to the website and go to the electronic version. And then also I want to make sure you know that we have a new school climate model. So the law is very specific about what our measures of success are. How do we know if this program is in fact working? And one of those measures of success is seeing an increase in school climate. And it's very specific about that language. We know climate and culture are both really important, but we needed an instrument to really measure school climate. And so that's been developed. We have new surveys based off of a national model. And this goes out in February, March every year. And so it measures 3 big areas of engagement, safety, environment, and to your different stakeholders. We're used to sending out those surveys. So if you want to take a look at the framework, you can also find the survey items and also an alignment document that hopefully would be helpful for you to put that data side by side and see what those trends are. Now, that next slide, I just want to really make sure you know that the state approved list, this is where they're going to find the high quality professional learning, and it is updated yearly. So if you can make sure that your folks know that that list is going to change year to year, it's not going to be too different, but there are some updates, and you can also find that at alabamaprincipals.org. So that is me. I'm going to turn it over to Special Education Services.
My name is Tara Jackson, and I'm one of the members of the Instructional Support Team in Special Education Services. I have a short, like your summer vacation short, yet sweet, like me or honey, list of awesome resources for you to take back to your LEA and share with the people that could use it. I want you to make sure you do me one big favor and share this information. Share and share alike. Okay. Now, to begin with, we have a teacher toolkit. We have a brand new design, but it offers the same wonderful resources that it's known for. It was curated especially for teachers as a one-stop shop for all special education related resources. We have a general education support resource toolkit and an alternate achievement support resource toolkit. Now, if any of you have any ideas for something that would be helpful to add to this for teachers, please contact us for us to consider it. Our contact person is listed, Elizabeth Newell. Next, Differentiated Instruction Guide, or as we fondly call it, the DIG. It replaced the curriculum guide a few years ago. It's an extremely valuable tool that helps teachers to identify a student level within a standard and to be able to structure goals and lessons and monitor progress. Now, how great is that of a resource for all of our new teachers and our seasoned teachers? I would have loved to have that when I was in the classroom. It's a tool for all teachers and students in general and special education. The areas covered include ELA, math, science has finally been finalized here, and we are currently recruiting teachers for the creation of the social studies DIG. If you or anyone you know is interested, please fill out the form from the link on the slide. Next. Teachers who are instructing students on the alternate pathway, please make sure that you're using the current courses of studies for those subjects. The years of implementation are listed next to each. Alternate Achievement Standards, AAS instructional toolkits, are a collection of lessons for teachers to use for students working on the AAS that is formatted with 3 levels and includes activities. Most importantly, we need you to remember that the alternate pathway is a different way of assessing progress and not a location. It is important to remind all teachers and LEAs that the consideration for the alternate assessment is based on how to best show the progress of learning for a specific student. Again, this decision is not a placement decision. Students who need a different way of measuring their progress, like the alternate assessment, are typically students with extensive historical support needs for severe deficits in adaptive functioning and cognition that will persist throughout their lifespan. Normally, this is less than 1% of the students tested in the state of Alabama. These students are students who will typically require adult support and extensive services past high school. Remember, this IEP team decision is not one to be taken lightly. For teachers instructing students on the Essentials pathway, here are the Essential Pathway course credit information. The standards are outlined on each of the tabs of the Essentials Live Binder, which includes things such as math, ELA, science, social studies, the diploma checklist for the pathways, and much, much more. Now, as I said at the beginning, this update is short and sweet, just like me, but it is loaded with information that you can use throughout the course of each school year. Be sure to share and share alike. Now, who is next?
I believe it's Sean.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. We're excited for the new school year. We're actually really excited about the new structure for our curriculum instruction meetings. I'm really hoping that each of you are going to be able to come together and collaborate with each other in a much more meaningful way. And so wanted to just give a few shout outs to our team who really been working on this for several years, our OSL team, as well as so many of our folks across the department. I hope that when we come together in just another week or so, that we'll be able to have much more time working with each other, learning from each other, and sharing with each other. So here are a few updates for instructional services that that I hope that you'll find beneficial. First, a couple weeks ago, we hope that your superintendent shared a memo about periodicals. And so the legislature back in 2024 passed a law that requires that the state textbook committee review all magazines, newspapers, or journals that are published at regular intervals and used in our classrooms at least once a month for classroom instruction. In the memo from Dr. Mackey, there were instructions for you to submit a physical copy of that magazine, newspaper, or journal to Katrina Todd's attention here at the department. Once we have all of those, again, the deadline is on September 30th, then we'll be able to publish the list of all of those that have been submitted to us. Again, many of you reached out with questions regarding digital versions, and if you're able to print or somehow save that digital version into a print copy, Dr. Mackey's instructions were for your superintendent to collect those and then to send the physical copies to the department so that we can go from there. And so most of you have probably already started to send them, and I know that Katrina is looking forward to processing those as quickly as possible once we receive those by September 30th. Also, a couple of just state textbook adoption updates. Of course, the Arts and Social Studies textbook committees have been working really diligently, and I appreciate your recommendations and always being willing to offer up your content area experts and your educators to serve on all of our committees. Fingers crossed, our tentative date to present to the board will be on October 9th at that work session with a final vote to approve or reject in November. That should actually give local school districts an additional month to work through the local textbook adoption process. Of course, pending state approval, Publishers Warehouse will host a social studies caravan that'll start in late November, ending in late January. And you can follow this link on the slide to get more information about those upcoming caravans. Please, I hope that you'll have some of your educators attend so that they can really get the full picture of what's available to them and how best to implement new textbooks at your local school district level. Dr. Shields, Vaping Act.
So, as I said before, we had a number of new laws that came to pass in the last legislative session, and the Vaping Act is one of them. And so I worked with Sean and a number of others to turn this around. Some of this new legislation has some very fast turnarounds, so we had to get together really quickly. So what we've done is this link will take you to, it's essentially a Google slide instructional tool. I was pretty clear about the intent of it. However, do know that you have the discretion to take those slides and add to them and make them work for you. We tried to keep it as a really simple tool for you to use, but still make sure that we follow the letter of the law. So you have access to download that into your drive or as a PowerPoint and use however is best suited for you. Back to you, Sean.
Back in the spring, we had a group of folks across various different sections here at the department to work with some of our new curriculum directors who had requested a sample syllabi. And so we gathered quite a few different experts from different content areas, and I'm really excited about the fact that we're able to now share this ALEX resource repository with sample secondary course syllabi. You can scan the QR code or visit the website by clicking on the links below or on the slides. You'll see that there's a collection of a variety of different subject areas and grade levels. And I want to just thank everyone who helped contribute to those, because I know so many times as new teachers, you're really learning how to play school from the moment you walk in the door on day one. And so this is something that was a request from our curriculum directors that just, hey, is there a repository where we could point new teachers to sample syllabi that they could then develop their own from? And so we'd love to hear some feedback from this, especially when we meet together in another week or so. And so really appreciate all those that helped contribute to this from our team.
Hey, Sean, can I go back?
Yes, ma'am, please.
And I see Sue Ellen is online as well. I believe these were just added to Alex. So I'll let Sue Ellen put in the chat if indeed that's true. But I saw in the slide it said will be posted soon. I know they're working on that. And we want to say, so this course syllabi came as a request from you. We had a lot of curriculum directors reach out to us like, can you just show us, like, we just want to see what an art course of study would look like, what a social studies course of study, it's not course of study, sorry, syllabus or course outlines, what I'm trying to say. And so we worked together to consider what are those things that should be in a high quality syllabus, what can that look like, and really go from there. Do know, once again, I think I'm sharing something, that this is not meant to be prescriptive by any means, but as a tool for you to use. So if you like what we've shared with you, by all means, feel free to use that. But do check it out. I think the link that we have on the slide will take you to a Google Drive with all the content areas. And then I believe it is also, thank you, Sue Ellen, she is on it. I'm looking at her message that yes, it is indeed on our Alex site. So back to you, Sean. Thank you.
A few weeks ago, district leaders, superintendents, and district leaders received a memo from Dr. Mackey announcing the opening of our graduation cohort portal and the verification process of that. Just wanted to, I'll make sure that there's a link to the memo in our handouts, but that opened with a target date of having the cohort portion of it approved and certified by local school districts by October the let's see, I'm sorry, by October 1. That review date, of course, is something that comes every year. And of course, I know many of you have already been working on your data to ensure that it's accurate. Wanted to just highlight a few things about for your cohort data reporting. One, of course, there are some slides that just show you how each of the calculations are figured. Again, students who graduate on the general education pathway diploma that are reported as federal graduates on the state report, but then those that are who earn a diploma on the essentials or alternate achievement pathway, those are reported as federal completers. This is an example of, again, what you see when you log into the cohort portal, and just want to make everyone more aware of their role and your role in helping ensure that our data is accurate, as accurate as it can possibly be, so that when we report to the feds, we know that we have sound data reporting practices in place. Also, just wanted to make sure you had a definition of what a dropout is, as well as how they're reported. There's some more information coming soon about how to work with students who are dropping out, and then also how they can move into the non-traditional high school diploma option. College and career readiness defined again as part of our accountability measure. Accounting for college and career readiness is determined by the total number of students who are in the actual college and career readiness enrollment count, and the number of students who actually have earned a college and career readiness indicator divided by those that are in the enrollment count is how your school and your school district's college and career readiness rate is calculated. Also wanted to just mention briefly that we are in the final stages of, we just finished receiving all of our college and career readiness grants just last week. And so we're excited to be reviewing those, and we will hope to have those distributed and a notification sent to districts within the next few weeks, and really excited to see some of the things that our school systems have chosen to apply for grant funding. Again, anytime that we can do have an activity or support a student in helping them pursue whatever it is their dreams are after high school, we know that that's going to have a positive impact on their school and more importantly, their community. Again, some more data reporting screenshots, but again, just wanted you to be able to see the college of career readiness information. And then just as a final note, if you can certainly help us by being a champion for data reporting at each of your school building levels, and then of course at the district level, even if you're not the person who's responsible for certifying that data, please help us with ensuring that the data is as accurate as possible, and that you reach out to whoever's assigned to you from our staff when the time comes that you actually need some help with any kind of issues or interesting situations where something may not be actually reporting the way in which you think it should be. A couple of links just to celebrate library media. Of course, we've mentioned several times the new library standards have been out since back in the fall of, I guess now 2024. Excited about our school librarians being able to implement those new standards. Again, here's a slide with links to help with any questions regarding compliance monitoring, the monthly office hours that Suzanne hosts, as well as monthly virtual PDs on the first Fridays. I'm really proud of the work that she's doing, and proud of the way we're being responsive to you if you serve in the role as a school library administrator at the district level, or if you support them. Certainly want to continue to lift those up, as well as ensure that our staff are responsive to any of your professional learning needs. Again, a link there on the slide will take you to where you can find out more information. Also, continue to be proud of the work that we're doing with secondary English language arts. Of course, our collaboration with our friends in ARI to help with struggling readers above grade 3, but then also how we're supporting secondary ELA. I know that Natalie Hubbard, who's leading that work, sends out a monthly newsletter. I hope you'll continue to share those with your ELA teachers at the school level, and also let us know how we can be supportive of those as we continue to try to bring more information from research articles that are current, as well as any type of test prep or just ways to support your ELA teachers. Here's a brief calendar of courses of study. Of course, this 25-26 school year, we're full implementation for science, and then as well as 3 clusters within career and technical education with health science, arts AV, and human services. Then, of course, full implementation for social studies and arts will be in the 26-27 school years. And then I know that Mr. Hawthorne's on here as well, and he may mention this, but we are also seeking nominees to serve in some course of study committee roles. Again, with one of the new clusters that will be unveiled is energy and natural resources, as well as those content area experts in agri-science and construction will be looking at revising and doing kind of a refresh with those courses of study. In addition, we're looking forward to just in just a few months to also convene the world languages courses of study committees together, and really excited about where that work can go. And then finally, just wanted to give you an update that our school counseling and guidance task force has been meeting diligently, as well as our digital literacy and computer science committees. And so we hope to have those before the board in just a couple months, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, the board will approve that digital literacy computer science course of study, as well as the new counseling state plan. And so be looking for those in the coming months. Just a reminder about waivers and inquiries about waivers for schools offering AP Seminar English Grade 10 still require an annual waiver. You will find information on all of our waiver submission and guidelines on the waiver website, but there's no need to mail them in. You can actually just submit them through the website. But again, as a reminder that for at least this school year, we'll continue to require an annual waiver for AP Seminar English 10. Just a reminder that schools should be transitioning out of their career prep waivers depending on when your career prep waiver was approved. As Dr. Shields and I committed to you just a couple of years ago, we will continue to work with school districts as we transition away from the career prep waivers that have been in place for many, many years into a different type of pathway. Anytime that you need copies, or you need to inquire about a waiver that you may have submitted, please feel free to reach out to Dr. Blake Busman, and we will certainly get you anything that you need regarding those. La Senora, Maria.
Thank you, Sean. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about English learners. I'm Maria Franco, and I'm the English Learner Administrator. I also administer world languages. And so I wanted to show, can you go back to the one slide before, Sean? Because, okay, I wanted to show you the that our, most of you probably already know, but our guidance for high quality instruction and assessment already lives in the Alabama Chiefs website. It's right under the Alabama Framework for English Learner Success. So I would like for you to explore that. This is a great tool for any teacher, and we have within the tool, we have a toolbox that will help teachers understand what all of these indicators look like in the classroom. So this is a great tool. Please explore it. We also, as you know, we will have, this will be our first year taking the new WIDA Access. And so this year will be baseline year. And but I had added a link here for those who are not very familiar with this new test. This is a little bit of information. I also wanted to share, if you grab this QR code, you will be able to see we have a flyer here that will show you my regional staff is doing professional learning with the WIDA ELD standards. This is a 2-day professional learning, and it's actually really good because it shows whoever participates, any educator that wants to participate, shows them from the view of each one of the 4 main subject areas. They will get a taste of what how we implement the WIDA ELD standards within the content areas. Also included in this training is a little bit of baseline information on the WIDA framework. Like they give a brief on it at the beginning, and then they go into the subject area. And we move to the next slide, please. So the second part, this is part of the that high quality guidance that I shared with you on the slide before. And this QR code is only for if you would like more information about Hakia. We call it Hakia for short. But these are the modules that we have that exist for professional development. We have a packet that includes all of the training on all 6 of these modules, but you can also receive training in the individual modules that are 1.5 hour training. So my regional staff, once you select this QR code, you fill in the form, I will alert them, and they will reach out to you to find out what kind of training will best fit your needs. And so please do share this with the educators in your district. And also once I have this form filled out, I will immediately share it with my staff. For elevation, we're still having training opportunities across the state. We have the in-person opportunities as well as the virtual. If neither one of these work for you, we also have, all my staff is trained perfectly on these, and they can provide the training as well. So either one of these 3 options that will work for you. But in this document, all of the links are live, so you will be able to see the types of trainings and the dates where we have the trainings. Lastly, we have we meet monthly. We have an office hour that is open to any educator. You don't have to be EL. Any educator that is interested on asking a question or have a request, or for whatever reason, you can join us. Here are the dates of the office hours. They land on almost the third Thursday of each month, and they're from 8:30 to 9:15. I will send a survey out to your districts 2 weeks before, and within that survey, people ask the questions ahead of time so that we can prepare answers for you, because as you know, with English learners, we collaborate with all our folks that you see here, and sometimes we need time to do that collaboration in order for us to provide the best answer. Also on October 23rd, for all of those of you who are the EL administrators, we will have our first in-person meeting that we will be having at the Birmingham office. And here are the information is on this slide, but you can also register through the QR code. It is important that you register so that we know how many people we're expecting, because we do obviously have a cap, because the office only can handle that area. We can only handle so many people. So please do use this opportunity to register. Thank you. Going back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Maria. Dr. Shields, I'm going to let you unmute and let's talk about secondary learning exchange.
You got it. Unmuted. So this is another one that came from you. And this one was one I could really get behind as a secondary person. You know, the work that Bonnie's team and Karen's team are doing with literacy and numeracy, and you know, everyone counts, and strong readers, strong leaders, and you know, the secondary folks, like, we want some of that. Like, we want community with other folks that have very specific needs. You know, we want to talk about, what does intervention look like in the high school? We want to see some really innovative schedules. We want to talk about attendance. We want to talk about Val and Sal and all of the things that are very germane to high school. So we got together, contacted many of you, and said, let's really think about how we could create an opportunity to bring middle and high school folks together, leaders, to really think about how we could come together and learn from one another. And you know, high school people being what they are, they're like, hey, we don't want all the cutesy stuff. We want this and that. And I got to tell you, this team has delivered, and the team is made up of multiple sections. This lives across the department. We really wanted to come together to think about what that can look like. I know they've met, I think we had the first meeting last week when I was in DC, which means I missed every one of them. And they were fabulous. The feedback has been so affirming. But then another thing that we're doing is, so we're meeting in person, and if you can still sign up to be a part of this secondary learning exchange, of course, we made sure it's connected to APLDS, and that we're really having super thoughtful conversations about the things that are relevant to you right now. And then we learned a lot with our prep program in the previous year about how, you know, when you are able to just kind of put away the day and then join in the evening, there is this certain freedom that comes with that. So we have a night shift series that is coming up in October, that we invite our 612 leaders to be a part of. And once again, we're going to have essential questions. We're really thinking about very specific things, and to bring the state's middle and high school folks together around those questions and really think about what we are doing well and what are some of the things that we need to do better. So it should be really organic. We've worked really hard to make these a lot of fun, but certainly things that you can take with you immediately. Sean, is there anything else that I might be missing? Because to see this finally happening after, you know, 6 or 7 months of planning has just been ridiculously exciting. And I don't know if you've ever met Peter DeWitt or Michael Nelson. They're practically comedians. They are so funny, and they get it. They totally get the nature of the beast when you're a secondary leader. Sean, anything else?
I just wanted to mention that I saw some social media posts that I believe we did not pay someone to actually make last week and week before, that one of them said this is the best PD that I've been to in years. And that just meant a lot, because I know that so many people between the MTSS team, of course, Jeff and OXL, as well as Anna Shepherd-Jones and her team, just really to bring this to our educators. And it's nice to have the focus on secondary, and really looking forward to the conversations around those 4 key areas from this year. And of course, each year the topics may change based on, feedback that we get from our school leaders. But man, what a way to start off with, PLCs and authentic instruction and assessment, master scheduling, and how, just being, and this is for all school leaders. And pretty much as long as you're not a classroom teacher, we would love to have you. And I would really hope that you'll be able to encourage anyone in your district to actually attend. And thanks to the whole team who's made this possible. Of course, anything related to FRIS plans, anything about MTSS intervention, Power School Analytics and Insights. Of course, every third Friday we have office hours, and thanks to Stacy, thanks to Bonnie, thanks to everyone who's really worked as a team to help ensure that our student plans are accessible, they're meaningful, and that more conversations can actually be on the interventions themselves instead of just trying to perfect a process that never seemed to have been perfect in the past. And I'm struggling. There we go. A couple other last things I just wanted to mention. A parent family engagement series is coming this fall. We have an entire team internally that have been really working to find those key areas of and what makes strong family and community engagement, a success. And so be on the lookout for those this fall. MTSS also has some FAQs around monitoring. Hope that you are at least involved in that part of it. And again, any questions that you have, you can reach out to any of our MTSS team. Stronger Connections grant, just a reminder that all ES2 requests for Stronger Connection grant reimbursements must be sent prior to October 1st. This is a reminder because we will reallocate money for any district who was awarded the grant yet still has not drawn down any of that money. We have several districts who are in need and would be more than happy to help spend that money for us. Again, hope you'll join us each month for our Maxwell Leadership Series, Elevate Impact. Of course, you can see the registration information here. And again, from all of the people who attend, it's such a great way to fill your cup as well as to get some insight into how to bring iLead to your school and get to be around other school leaders, even if it's just for the afternoon. Do you need PD or support? Here, a wide variety of topics that our MTSS team can certainly can deliver to your district. Please reach out to those. And again, just maybe one day early, but we're so happy to have Tracy Ray join us on our MTSS team, who will be transitioning to that position tomorrow.
She's pretty awesome. And Sean, thank you for reminding me. I was just looking at some of the feedback that we got from the Secondary Learning Exchange. I think this might be one of my favorites. Finally, our state is looking to empower secondary leaders. For years, we have been in a bubble where elementary has been prioritized. By having the network, it can validate many administrators at this level. Love that.
That's exactly right. And before I turn it over to Bonnie, I just wanted to do some did you knows for us as well. We didn't have a slide, but we'll certainly talk about this when we're together in another week or so. But wanted to share the fact that in spring 2025, Alabama recorded an all-time record number of advanced placement takers, advanced AP exams taken, and most importantly, the number of AP qualifying scores. We had more than 33,000 qualifying scores that were taken by 28,000 students and 54,000 exams. We could not be more proud of our students and our teachers, and really looking forward to how we can continue to grow AP and how we can continue to grow all of our early college initiatives. So, Bonnie?
Great things are happening in Alabama, aren't they? Excited to hear about all the great work that's taking place. I want to remind you of the ARI website because we're trying really hard to make sure that everything that you need is right there in that website. Most recently, we have been adding in the most up-to-date ARI memos. We know that this is something that we often get questions about, so we wanted to make sure that you have access to those memos that directly relate to ARI right there at the finger touch. We're taking those directly from the Memorandum Center that is on the Alabama Achieves website. So there's that connectivity. You can always go to the Memorandum Center to get everybody's, but if you need just things on from ARI, this is where you will head. I want to make you aware, and you probably are already aware due to your regional literacy leadership specialist, but this is the year of a reallocation of support designations for ARI. And as always, full support is the bottom 5%. Those schools that, when we looked at the ACAP reading data, they scored in the bottom 5% of all the schools. Those are the schools that will be designated as full support. We anticipate that range to be from 53% to 69%. I say anticipate because these support designation letters are in routing, and so nothing is official until you have that letter in your hand. Then looking at that limited support one, we have that listed at 70 to 87% for the reading sufficiency. So those are the schools that were under the state average, and limited support two are those that are at or above the state average. The amount of support that you receive is directly correlated with these three designations. We also have, and today is September 15th, so tomorrow and September 15th on reporting, you'll probably receive it later, but the reporting is due September 16th. I kept this in here because it's really important that you realize that this is the reporting that will continue to be due on an annual basis, and September 16th has been that magic day. So you can anticipate that next year you will see the same. I've heard feedback from several who said, oh my goodness, it's been so much easier this year because we worked analytics and insights last year and all of our data was just primarily just right there. And so this really should help cut down on what it is that you're having to get together as the LEA designated person and put together the reporting for us. So we hope that you are seeing that. If you are not, really look into your analytics and insights and see, have we been having everybody do what it is that they're supposed to do in this platform? Because that is that one area that can really cause the hiccup in you having all this data up to date. Also remember that the sheet that you see on the left-hand side, it was done in collaboration with our partners with the Office of Mathematics Improvement. And these are live links. So when you click on this link, it's only going to give you access to that which PowerSchool has given you access. But you'll have all the information directly linked to that specific area. So you can pass this sheet to somebody else who maybe has less access than you do. They can click on the link and they're only going to see for those schools or districts in which they have access to in PowerSchool, all the way down to the teachers. So the teacher is only going to see the access that they have in their classroom. Here we have professional learning led by state organizations in the science of reading. We've been made aware of these conferences that are coming up. Wanted you to have a listing of them and when they take place so that you can plan accordingly. Always remember that professional learning for the Alabama Reading Initiative, or I should say the Alabama Literacy Act, is lined up with the Continuum for Teacher Development, which was one of those assignments in the law. And when we look at phase one, we're talking about pre-service, or those who are in college learning to be teachers. When we talk about phase two, we are looking at professional development in the science of reading, that gold standard professional development that the state is offering to everyone right now, that is letters. And then looking at phase two and phase three, which is when you have already completed letters, now what? We also have in phase two, looking at that training in the information that you have for your programming. So make sure that you are looking at those specific areas and providing the adequate training that's outlined in the law. Looking at leadership labs to support principals. These are the professional development that we do in person to make sure that everyone has access to the most up-to-date face-to-face professional development in the science of reading, that they know what's going on in the schools, and that they have specially designed professional development for them. in their learning. These are the dates in which those are taking place. You can see that they're spread out in a range of dates so that we can cover multiple sessions taking place. We encourage you to make sure that your principals are attending these. We've had incredible feedback. That kind of feedback led to the professional learning for the secondary learning exchange that Dr. Shields talked about. So really look to this. We thought it was so important that we're now looking at doing something like that specifically for you as the ARI contact or curriculum director. We also have those virtual sessions. We had our first one last week to give you insight in what coaching communities and leadership labs will be like. The next two are coming up in November, January, and February. I said two, that's actually three. So be sure that you pay mind and get signed up for those. We had a wonderful showing last week for that first session. And so there's your QR code and the link in order to sign up if you haven't. And as I mentioned, those central office labs, they're coming to you. We're going to put together some professional learning with other people with your same role and talk about what are things that you can do to support literacy instruction that are specific to your role and to your job. And it's a great time for collaboration and for you to hear what other schools are doing and solutions that they have. ARI funded interventionists and local reading specialists MOUs are already past due. So if you have not sent these in, be sure to send these to your regional literacy leadership specialist. We have the memorandum that is being developed to provide you your allocation for these two positions. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to have those funds up front and as soon as possible. I also wanted to make you aware of approved intervention and assessment programs that are going to be coming up. This is what we have right now for this school year. However, there is an RFQ that's taking place this week where there will be a review of these programs for your 26-27 school year. Your assessment programs, as we mentioned in memorandums that were from past years, 26-27, you shouldn't have any contracts with any vendor for assessment at this point until this review takes place. So we'll get you those upcoming assessment vendors as soon as all of those are approved so that you will know how to schedule for your next year. And then with intervention programs, we're not taking away any of these intervention programs. These 5 will all still stay into effect, but there may be additional intervention programs that will be added to the list, which could help you if you find that an intervention program isn't working for one of your students. You may want to have a backup intervention program. Coaching a Better Reading Family Academy is an initiative that Alicia Johnson, one of our ed specialists, has been putting together. These are dates in which she's providing training to those individuals who are taking part in this year. We did our pilot last year. This year, we've got a few districts who are jumping on, want to make sure that they have this opportunity in their schools. We encourage you to look into this. This may be something you want to add on to your program. It's not about doing one more thing. It's about doing what we're doing now, but doing it better. So keep that in mind as you think about these. Struggling Readers Beyond Grade 3 got a shout out earlier just a few minutes ago. Misty Wilson is the ed specialist that's working on this. It's really focused around attainment, achievement, and acceleration. This information is all on the web page. You can go through it, really study it, look at it. Keep in mind that a student who has a student reading improvement plan does not lose that student reading improvement plan when they go to 4th grade, unless you can verify that they no longer have a deficiency. Remember, those deficiencies, we're looking at the early years assessments, not ACAP. So make sure you're providing the support that is needed for those individuals. In this program, Skills for Success, they're talking about data analysis, application, science of reading, evidence-based practices, looking at the ELA course of study, even how it's mapped out with NAEP, differentiated instruction, and peer coaching. We've got a peer coaching cohort that's going on right now. They'll be looking at these different areas in order to continue this instruction, to give you what you need. Misty Wilson's going around throughout the state, providing professional development opportunities. You can feel free to reach out to her if you have questions about struggling readers beyond grade 3, but keep in mind, she is but one person. We're lucky enough with ARI that we have many people to be able to help and support this work. Your State Board of Education is looking for additional funding so that we can continue to provide extra support for you and struggling readers beyond grade 3. But right now, she is the lone wolf who is working on this. I also wanted to share information for you from the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. They have a new secretary. The newly appointed secretary that was sworn in by Governor Ivey is Secretary Amy Brooks, who previously served with the Department of Early Childhood Education. She has been a fast friend of the Alabama Reading Initiative and the Alabama State Department of Education. I know AMSTI has had lots of great interactions with her. OMI, she has just been a really wonderful ally to supporting the work and looking at how do we best look at kids and all the needs that they have. They have a conference coming up called Playology. It's in October. This may be something that you're interested in your early childhood teachers participating in. Also, they are leading the work with Alabama Early Learning Inventory. This is your kindergarten and first grade readiness assessment. I just wanted to point you back to the Padlet for the Alabama ELI and how you can get access to the information and who's supporting for your region. And without further ado, we have the fabulous Jeff Norris.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. Typically, when we're in person, I am the middleman. So this is a great chance for you to press pause and take a break if you need to stand up and stretch or walk around or use the restroom. And then when you're ready to move on to the next topic, you can press play. That's the beauty of this format. So really excited to talk to you today about the Office of Extended Learning and how it connects to a lot of different sections of the State Department. This year, we have been talking a lot about the possibility of possibility. I hope you're hearing that the State Department, like never before, has people who are really interested in innovation and looking at the future. We are doing the work that matters right now, but at the same time, we're also always thinking about what's next and also how it all fits together. One of my previous superintendents, I tell this story when I was a principal. He would tell us that when he had to make a really difficult decision, he would go into his office at work, and at his office, he had a conference table. And at one end of the conference table, he had one of these old, tall recliners, and he would sit in it. And he called it his thinking chair. And now, as a first year principal, it really stressed me out hearing him talk about making decisions in his thinking chair because I felt like I was making lots and lots and lots of decisions on the fly while I was in the hallway and did not have the luxury of having a thinking chair in which to make big decisions. On the back end now, I can appreciate the space that he carved out for himself. And so, one of the things I would encourage you as you're looking at extended learning in particular, but really in all of the things that you do in your school system and in your school buildings, is to carve out some space to really think about what are the possibilities, to reflect on the things that are working in your building or in your system, to think about de-implementing the things that are not working and not just continuing to add more to your plates. And then also just kind of having that future vision of how it all fits together for student success. In the Office of Extended Learning, you can head to the next slide. Part of that reflection is looking back at last year. We're actually a year old now. We're really excited that OXL turned 1 in June with this year's summer camps. This past year, we're really excited to celebrate some of the things that we did. We had over 10 sections at the State Department who helped create a task force of extended learning and what it could actually look like. We have a fantastic guidance for summer programming document if you're looking to expand your summer programs or just know what legislation requires. We have a document that actually helps you with both of those things. This past year, our ASAP grant, it's called the Alabama Summer and After School Program Grant. We were able to offer 72 different grants. We'll talk some more about the next year in just a second. Really excited about that. We were able to thought partner with over 91 districts. And so really excited that this is something that lots of people are interested in. We know that if what we're doing is working during the 9 months of the school year, that we want to do as much as we can with our students during those months that they're not actually typically in our school buildings. And so we're looking at helping districts come up with and expand their programming during those summer months. One of the highlights that from the past year was our Learning Without Limits podcast. We have 7 or 8 episodes now on our website. We're going to begin continuing that series. So if you have an innovative idea for summer after school programming or even some type of innovation during the school day that's extended learning, would love to talk with you, or you can nominate somebody else by emailing me. We'd love to have a conversation and share that around our state. We have our website is not as extensive as the Alabama Reading Initiative website, but we can use it as a great model and are continuing to add to that source for districts. Those Google sites are a little bit, I guess I can say this, more user friendly than Alabama Achieves. And so, especially if you're looking for student learning, the sections of student learning, we're trying to really get to the stuff that you need as quickly as you can. Dr. Shields always talks about 3 clicks to get to whatever you need. And so we have that same mindset with OXL. There's some great material there that we would love for you to watch or to view if you're looking to expand your program. And then last, we have a great video kind of summarizing our summer learning. We're hoping we get to show that to the Board of Education this next month and celebrate summer learning in Alabama, but you're welcome to click that link and see some of our students around the state doing some amazing things this summer. Looking ahead, next slide, our task force has helped identify 5 priority areas. We're really excited that we actually have created some success criteria for each of these areas, that we have a vision for these 5 different areas for our state. And so if any of these 5 areas is something that your district or your school building is either struggling with or just looking to advance, we would love to partner with you. We have different people who are looking into these areas and continuing to grow in these areas. Some of these we feel like we are really strong in. Some of these are growth areas and growth potential areas for our state. And so I'm going to highlight a few of those over the next few slides and tell you a little bit more about some of them. Thanks, Dr. Shields. The first slide is on specifically for funding. Most of this is for summer learning. I just got an email this morning, really excited, from a district who is so thankful for this supplemental appropriations memo that came out. If it did not somehow cross your desk, I would love to make you aware of this and provide this link. It is on our website and on the Alabama Achieves website. Last year, we had specifically designated funds for summer reading camps, and then we added to those funds with some education trust fund budgets. This year, the legislature increased the supplemental appropriations and actually expanded the designation to K-12 summer and after school programs. And I think this is something that our districts are going to be really thankful for, because it allows you to consider the possibility of possibilities rather than just limiting yourself to specific legislation, or I should say limiting, but there is freedom within the fences in the legislation for the Literacy Act and the Numeracy Act. But we also don't want to forget about our 6 through 12 students, and also students who may be above grade level in the elementary grade levels. And so those students could also benefit from summer and after school enrichment programs. So this supplemental appropriations memo, most school districts are getting an increase in funding from last year. Really excited about that, and I would love to help you spend your money. My pockets are not deep, but I have lots of ideas. And so if you will make contact, I will be happy to partner with your district and put together a team to help you really think about the programs that you're doing during the summer and after school. In addition to that, I've had this question from several districts, so I would definitely wanted to make sure I mention this. is that you will still get a designated amount of funding for summer reading and math camps. Since a lot of that funding was moved over to supplemental appropriations, it may not be quite as much specifically for summer reading or summer math, but when you combine it with your supplemental appropriations, you should definitely see an increase from last year. That memo should be coming out, fingers crossed, within the next few weeks to 1 month. Along with that, we have our ASAP grant, which will also be coming out around that same time period. Really, really, really excited about our ASAP grant for this next school year. You can see right here, this is a lot of funding that our state legislature has chosen to allocate for summer and after school programs, $17.2 million. That's an increase from the last several years when it was about $2.86 million. So you can definitely see the amount of priority that they're giving towards these programs. And we are hopeful about a few changes for our ASAP program. So if you've applied for the grant in the past, I would highly recommend that you apply for it again. If you applied for it and didn't receive it in the last couple of years, I would highly recommend that you apply for it this year because there is additional funding this year. In addition, the last thing on this slide, Dr. Shields, that I want to say about the ASAP grant is that we are really looking at connecting partners in communities. So if you are a school district who is looking for community-based partnerships, we would love to work with you on that. Within the legislation, there's actually an increased focus on creating these community partnerships. And so there is possibly an incentive involved in the ASAP grant this year that will incentivize you to actually partner with those community-based partners. So be thinking about that over the next couple of weeks. Be thinking about who you can invite to the table to have a conversation with your school district about summer and after school programs. Go ahead and get those people and let them know about this grant and tell them that you'll be letting them know more information really soon. I would anticipate that one being early October to mid-October, that grant coming out. Really excited about that. Next slide. The Office of Extended Learning does have some professional learning series. These sessions were all created by school districts. So we partnered with about 5 different school districts from around the state. That would be from an urban school district, a rural school district, suburban. We had several different district teams get together to really help us talk about these 3 different topics. They're all a little bit different, and really we can tweak them to the particular audience. So if you would like to work with your local regional in-service center and let several school districts get together and network about this learning, that would be fantastic. Or if your school district is just really interested in expanding your secondary summer programming, or maybe you need a little bit more help really in with the enrichment aspect in your summer reading and math camps, or if you really want to talk big picture about planning and creating comprehensive programs, we have PD that can fit your needs. And I think my next to last thing is we are actually creating an education directory position for each school district for summer and extended learning. This would be a really great way, a really great time for you to go in and update those positions. If no one has mentioned that yet, really that education directory is how we email from the State Department all of our different subgroups. And so if you have recently come into a new position, like a curriculum and instruction position or federal programs or whatever your position may be, you definitely want to update that in the education directory at the system level. There's a link to do this, but while you're doing that, please make sure that you sign someone from your district up for summer and extended learning, because we would like to have that contact for each of our districts. Until that happens, if you don't mind and you can do me a favor, I know our curriculum and instruction specialists and directors are hit with a lot of emails, but if you could forward anything to those people who are in charge of those programs in your district, I would really, really appreciate it. You can also follow us on Facebook and X or Twitter, and then our Google site. And then I think my last thing, oh no, I did 2 more. I'm so sorry. Really excited about both of these things too. So one of these is partnering with Teresina Vasquez from Instructional Services. She works with both Maria Franco and Sean Stevens in world languages. They came, we just kind of, again, we're thinking about possibilities. And one of the things that was brought up was that we have a lot of districts who are looking to increase the number of students who are qualifying for the seal of biliteracy. And that seemed to be something that a lot of our districts were interested in. And so we said, what can we do during the summer and after school time to really boost that number of students? What is the need that they have? And then what can we do to help districts really achieve the goals in that area? At the same time, we want to increase the number of students who are just taking world language classes. We want to expose our younger students to world languages. And so Teresina and I got together to create this kind of one-page menu of services. And we are not creating a program necessarily, but we are talking about different options of programs that a local school district could create. This would be a really great use for those additional funds. If your district wants to expand your summer programming for your 612 students, this would be an area that you could really choose to expand upon. We're actually looking to create this type of one pager for lots of different areas. That's going to be one of our goals for the Office of Extended Learning this year, is just to give menus of services, menus of ideas for districts. So when you're looking to create programs, you're not having to start from scratch. Maybe you're seeing some things that have been successful in other areas. We may provide you with some pictures or just some different ideas. Ultimately, Teresina and I would love to work with you individually or in regions to create programs for your students. And a lot of those would be dictated by the needs of your community. So please reach out if this is something that you might be interested in. And then the last thing, I believe, is I'd love to talk a little bit about our Alabama Teachers of the Year. This is something that's near and dear to my heart and Dr. Shields' heart. We always talk about how we are teachers forever. We are forever teachers. That's how we introduce ourselves. A lot of our State Department people view themselves this way. I did hear the other day, Dr. Shields, someone introduced themselves not as a teacher, but as a learner. And I like that even more. So I would say that I'm a learner and also a teacher first. But we have two fantastic Teachers of the Year this year. Katie Collins is our elementary teacher of the year, who's also our state teacher of the year. Aubrey Bennett is our alternate teacher of the year, who's also the secondary teacher of the year. They are doing all kinds of fantastic projects. They are driving the little teacher of the year mobile around the state of Alabama to work a podcast with teachers. They would love to elevate teacher voice, and they would just love to visit some of the great things that are happening around our state and highlight those things. So I wanted to include their email addresses on here if you would like to schedule a visit from one of them. And again, they are teachers. They probably have some great things to share, but they're also learners, and they would love to learn from what's happening in our school districts and open their eyes to some of the great things that are happening around the state so that they can in turn share those with other teachers. So please keep them in mind and keep me in mind. And I believe that's all I have, Dr. Shields. That is not all I have. I'm
No,
so
I put
sorry.
one more on for you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
I
much.
thought no one could do. I had this with my stuff, so you should know that. So Jeff has been really a wonderful partner to me, and this is another law that passed, the Paperwork Reduction Act, and this was one that, you know, I could definitely get behind. It also makes us think about our work because even today we're talking about a lot of things that require paperwork. This law is specific for classroom teachers. So Jeff, will you share a little bit about that work?
Well, absolutely. And my connection just started going fuzzy. So if it does, please jump in. This particular group is made up with some fantastic representatives from around the state. We actually have teachers from every state board region. We also have a few administrators from the central office level and school level, but it's primarily teachers. That number one is actually dictated by the legislation, but more importantly, we wanted this to be to really envelop the teacher's voice from around our state. And part of the requirements are to create this report, to report back to our Board of Education on what we learned. We have met once. It was a fantastic introductory meeting. Dr. Shields and I loved meeting with these teachers. They are really excited about just having an opportunity to voice some of the concerns and some of the things that they're hearing. This group of teachers, we came up with a great group of norms that we talked about, you know, stating some of the issues that are happening, but moving beyond those issues as quickly as possible. We're looking for solutions and not just barriers to things that are happening in our state. We also have been defining what paperwork actually entails because we know that that has looked different over the past several years for some of us who've been in education over 20 years. We still have the file cabinet with the paper files, and we also have the electronic file cabinet. And no matter which type of paperwork, quote unquote paperwork you do, some of it has possibly become cumbersome to the point of where it's detrimental to student learning, which is really interesting to look at how that happens sometimes. So this group is having some really powerful conversations. Part of our work is really elevating that aspect of teacher voice and hearing from them, and also letting them hear from people at the State Department and initiatives that we've already come up with that we think are helping to streamline this process. You've heard of several of those already, and Dr. Shields mentions this. Every time we meet with teachers and administrators, we talk about how the joint work at the State Department of Education is better than it ever has been. And so we are really collaborating and connecting with each other. We're looking at ways to streamline within our sections and looking for those processes. And so we think that logically our next step is to bring the teacher voice into that, hear from them about what's actually working and what we need to do a better job of presenting and publicizing. And so we're really excited about the outcomes of this group. Just keep it in the back of your head. And if it's something that you're excited about or you have thoughts about or want to connect with us on, you're welcome to reach out to me anytime. And Dr. Schultz, I believe that is my last slide for real this time.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pivot back to Bonnie in just a second. So Bonnie, be ready. This has been just a wonderful opportunity. The law requires that the committee be made up mostly of classroom teachers, which it can include, librarians and other folks that are working with children. That's the thing. We want those folks that are working directly with children to have really honest, vulnerable conversations. And Jeff, thank you for that, because in our first meeting, we had to really think about what is paperwork. So for the old folks that are going to be watching this later, so I was sharing with them, I can remember in, 1990, two, and I'm having to hand calculate 160 averages. And the way we did lesson planning it was just so different. And so it was really interesting to hear our teachers really consider how the scope of paperwork has changed for teachers, and that it is not so much physical paperwork, but it is a lot of digital paperwork. And I thank Jeff for being such a great spokesman with this group. We were required to have a curriculum director, a special education director. I think we had to have a principal and interventionist. So the law was very specific about the makeup of this committee, so stay tuned. But at the end of these slides, we will have a link for you, just like we always do. As you've had questions from what we've done so far, if you've got comments particular to the Paperwork Reduction Act, like have you considered, we would love for you to provide that feedback in that on that forum as well. And thank you, Jeff. And Bonnie, you know how we're teachers, since I had like a squirrel moment, because when Bonnie was talking earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt her, she was talking about how we are really trying to consider how we can adjust to what we're seeing in the data, and also continue this trajectory that we have established. And we had some really interesting epiphanies as we were looking at our fourth grade reading on NAEP. So Bonnie, particularly in relation to poetry, and as an ELA person, I was intrigued by this. So will you share a little bit about that with our group?
Yeah, and I've got to give the credit to Misty Wilson. She did such a great job. Part of the work that she does with us is data analysis. And she really dug into those NAEP scores and broke down, and y'all can find this all on the NAEP website, but you got to dig deep to get in there. And broke down and saw that one of those areas that we were really struggling in as a state had to do with poetry. And we know that y'all are lifting poetry up in instruction. We see it here or there, but it's really about the question specific to poetry. Like you're really having to analyze the poem in a certain way to make sure that students are able to answer those questions. And so that's one of those areas that we're really lifting up to you this year to put a focus. We see the same thing with our ACAP data. Really put a focus there on poetry, and how can you break that poetry apart? How can you analyze it? How can you think about it from the author's purpose? How can you interpret what's going on in the poem? How can you add this in a comparison with another piece, poetry or not? So really be looking for that, looking toward the integration of poetry in your instruction this year.
Yes, Bonnie, appreciate that. And now I think we are going to AMSTI. Miss Jones, all yours.
Hello. I'm Kathy Jones, and I'm the director of AMSTI, and I just want you to take a moment and look at that precious face on this slide. Is that not joyful? That is part of our coaching framework. We want to serve others. We want to choose joy, pursue excellence, and make a difference. And so we try to do that in all things that we do: math, science, and digital literacy and computer science. So I'm going to kick off this portion, and I'm going to let Carrie Richburg begin with our slides.
Hello, hello. Leslie and I are going to tag team these math slides, and we wanted to first start off with echoing our opportunities for professional learning that Dr. Coleman mentioned earlier in the video. AMSTI Math offered over 1,800 sessions for teachers statewide in 2024 to 2025 academic year. And this is something that we're hoping both in our K-5 and 6-12 opportunities can be even greater in this next academic year. So we'd love for you to find a session near you by looking at our website, amsti.org/professional learning. You can there see our math, science, and digital literacy and computer science menus of service. And you can see both by content and by grade level the content area in AMSTI for all sessions that are available for each region's school systems.
All right, so take a look here at what we've got on this slide. Your AMSTI team has worked closely with the educational technology team and our partners at ALEX, the Alabama Learning Exchange, to ensure that teachers have a variety of resources at their disposal related to our math standards. So on the ALEX website, you can find the AMSTI Math and Science Proficiency Scales, as well as the newly released NAEP 2026 Framework Associations, and they can be found also on alabamastandards.org. All right, with the beginning of this brand new year, that 188 is a big number. We added 188 new K-5 math coach positions this school year. So what a thrill to be another step closer to full implementation across the state. This school year will see innovative models of coaching support across our 11 regions, including, and you'll see those bullet points there, we're really excited to stretch into the virtual space and find ways to very purposefully work with our coaches individually and in small group cohorts to really target some learning, to really be specific in how we dig in. There's a lot of great stuff happening this year, and we are super excited for the opportunities to learn and grow together as we support math teaching and learning. We also want to make sure that you and your teams are aware of the early numeracy calendars that AMSTI has published and available on our website. These are a monthly collection of ways that families can just help feel empowered to discuss math at home. The story we tell is a family knows that if they want to help their student develop their early literacy skills, they can read with their kids, they can sing songs with their kids, they can do the finger plays with their kids. We don't always feel as empowered to know how we could help develop those early numeracy skills. And so with these calendars, we are providing an opportunity for families, early child care centers, pediatrician offices, anyone who will help us spread the word, to just have opportunities to discuss a number of the month, to talk about how this is 8, 5, and 3, but also this is 8, 4 and 4 and just start getting some conversations going so that families can really appreciate that joy, beauty, and wonder of mathematics at home.
Next up, we have both our AMSTI Math ACAP and ACT supports. It is never too early to start making changes to the daily instruction in your classroom to support our students in their readiness for both ACAP and ACT. And so while testing isn't until spring, your calendars, your days, your classes fill up quickly. And so if you are interested in hosting an ACAP or ACT experience at your local level, please reach out to your local AMSTI Regional In-Service Center site. And these sessions will both engage your students and help them just enjoy learning more about the testing environment, easing some of that anxiety, and helping them to just feel comfortable and prepared even beyond the everyday work that you do in your classroom. Additionally, this bit.ly link will take you to our team's professional learning courses for the state of Alabama. And so the team's courses are now being built through the team's office in PowerSchool Professional Learning. And you will see SDE teams as the start of each of those course names. Additionally, those course descriptions in PowerSchool also signify whether the course counts for Teams Math, Teams Science, or Computer Science, or a combination of those three. And a running list with registration links organized by date can be found at the link or the QR code. We're really working hard to make these options more visible and readily available for not only our teachers, but also our LEAs. AMSTI also has 2 education, innovation, and research grants that are ongoing. And so many of you who listen to this recording may have teachers that are participating in our Curio Geometry Virtual Reality Study. And this is a free immersive virtual reality study. And we are in our first cohort this fall. And we are just really looking forward to hearing from those teachers who are utilizing the lessons that have been built for geometry in virtual reality and how that can help students make connections in your geometry classrooms. And so there will be future opportunities to participate in our later cohorts each academic year. So if that's something that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to myself or anyone on our AMSTI team, and we will get that information to you. Our second EIR research study is with MathNation and Algebra 1. For those of you who have been participating in this, Cohort 3 knows that they have just finished their NWEA pretest for their Algebra 1 students. Cohort 2, we're reaching out to you guys and gathering end-of-year data for each of your systems. And so if you get an email from somebody at the State Department or our research associates at WestEd, we would love for you to respond to that. We do have some assistance if pulling data is not your strong suit, because we want to make it as easy as possible for you to fill out and comply with all parts of this research study. The initial data is really promising, and we're looking forward to finishing up this third cohort with MathNation and having a full report about how the curriculum can impact student learning in Algebra 1 starting in 2027.
Okay,
And
so
with
the
that,
last
I'm
thing for us,
passing it back to Leslie.
thanks, Carrie. The last thing for us to chat with you about before we pass the baton over to our science colleagues is the NAEP Roadshow. Now, all of the in-person dates have passed, but don't worry, there's also going to be a pre-recorded session that will be made available. So if you were not able to attend in person, or if you went and it was so good that you'd like to hear it again, you can use the link to register that is on this flyer. All of those things are linked in your slide deck when that comes to you. To register for the asynchronous pre-recorded session, we will be recording tomorrow, September 16th, and then soon thereafter, the link will be shared with those people who have registered through PowerSchool. So please make a point to go and register. The NAEP Roadshow is a really great opportunity to hear about logistics about the NAEP, the assessment itself, but also to hear from different sections about what resources are in place to help our teachers and students prepare, to take a look at the great data story that has been rolling out regarding Alabama lately in the NAEP, and some ideas to help us continue that momentum on the 2026 administration of the NAEP. So I encourage you to register for the asynchronous session and watch for that recording to come your way very soon. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Charles Holloway. I'm the Secondary Science Administrator with AMSTI. And so we want to talk a little bit about science now. So new for this school year, we have the new course of study for Science Overview Professional Learning. So since this is the first full year of implementation, there's no more grandfathered years of science. We're excited to support teachers with this new professional development focused on the updated standards. Just like the 2015 standards, the new standards are performance standards. So it's designed so students are actively involved in doing science. So we're excited to support teachers with this course of study overview for science.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Amara Lynn. I am the K-5 Science Administrator. I'm super excited to join the AMSTI team. And so AMSTI has worked really hard this summer to make kit ordering eligibility requirements more clear. So looking at our flow chart, teachers will now know their eligibility based on if they are new to AMSTI, established or returning, or if they have changed a grade level. So we hope that this provide more clarity. And if you have more questions, reach out to us or your regional AMSTI site.
So we know that a lot of your teachers will be concerned about the ACAP, and so we do offer the Science ACAP Student Experience professional learning for your teachers. During this professional learning, they're going to receive instructional resources about the ACAP. They're going to analyze ACAP style type questions that they can take back and use with their students. They'll become familiar with the ACAP platform, the ACAP testing platform, and all the tools that they can share with their students. So if you're interested in your teachers being a part of the ACAP student science experience, reach out to your regional AMSTI specialist for more details, because they can help get you connected. We also have the ACT science experience, and this is a 3-phase experience for your teachers, where in phase 1, they come to a professional learning and learn about how the ACT science section is set up. In phases 2 and 3, they work with the local science emotion specialist to learn more about how the science portion of the ACT is set up. And they also work with the students and have some modules in Schoology that they can go through with their students to help increase their scores on the ACT science section. We found that teachers and students that go through the ACT experience through AMSTI, their scores raise 1 to 2 points. So it's an exciting professional learning for your teachers.
And Jennifer McCreary, our DLCS administrator, could not be with us today, but we do want to remind you that currently we are taking applications for robotics grants. Please submit an application for your school and your district. There is $500,000 that is legislated for this purpose, and we would love to be able to make as many awards as possible. So I do encourage you to follow the link and apply for these funds. Coming soon, we will have the AMSTI one-pager for the tiered instruction roadmap. If you are familiar with AMSTI in any way, you know that we are all about tiered instruction and always have been. So we've always had within our professional learning opportunities ways to tier instruction and to offer differentiated supports for students in the classroom. But we will have that one-pager coming soon.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, my friends. I am Joe Garner, the coordinator for the Office of School Improvement, and it's a pleasure to meet with you all today. I would like to take a moment to just quickly go through some slides that are timing-based initiatives for the Office of School Improvement. And I think I've got control. Oh, there we go. All right, as you can see by this slide, my team, full-time staff members for the Office of School Improvement are in this map located to the right of your slide. We are regionally based, and being that we're regionally based, I want you all to know and understand that regardless of where your LEA is located, I have individuals across the state that are more than willing to provide the support you need. I also have a link for you to request support, and also another link for our office hours for ATSI, TSI, and our most current newsletter is hyperlinked on the front of this slide as well. I want you all to know that by federal law, the ALSDE is required to identify 3 different areas for school improvement, and it is federal identification, it is comprehensive support and improvement schools, additional targeted support and improvement schools, and targeted support and improvement schools. The re-identification of these schools is coming up in November at the latest. Please also understand that this is a federal mandate. It's not a state mandate that we make up. These comprehensive support and improvement schools are our priority schools, and our limited support schools will be the additional targeted support and improvement schools. This chart helps to identify those schools, what resulted in the identification, and what the exit criteria is for this identification. You can see the comprehensive support and improvement schools must be a Title I school in the bottom 5% of all schools. And the additional targeted support and improvement schools, one or more subpopulations that perform below the threshold for all the students in the lowest performing schools. And that's a 3-year identification, just like the comprehensive support and improvement schools. And then we have the targeted support and improvement school, which is a 1-year identification. And of course, we still have the priority schools, because not only do we have the federal mandate that those 3 areas of schools are identified, we also have one that requires the state develop an accountability system for itself, and thus we have the Alabama Accountability Act, and schools that fall into category or D or F on the Alabama Accountability Act are identified as priority schools. And we also provide support to all others as requested. As pointed out in the slide, the first slide I showed you, we have individuals who live all across the state, and we are chomping at the bit to provide whatever support you may need. All right, some of our support is, well, not some, by law, and what should be included in your ACIP, especially if you are a CSI school, is the identification or each area of the indicator areas for your report card, such as academic achievement, academic growth, chronic absenteeism, graduation rate, college and career readiness rate, and progress toward EL proficiency. Those are all indicators that are used to calculate your report card scores. And if you are a CSI school, those indicators should also be addressed in your continuous improvement plan. We also have hyperlinked a great deal of resources from our webpage. You can get to our webpage either by clicking this link or going into the Office of Student Learning webpage and following the links to get to the OSI resource page. And well, There we go. And as Dr. Shields did such an eloquent job of earlier, she was explaining our principal calendar. Very proud of that, as well as the district curriculum leader calendar, to just add a little bit more understanding or clarity behind the development of that. It was developed by individuals who have actually sat in the seat of the principal. So there is credibility to the work that is being done. And we simply ask the question, why are principals struggling to be the instructional leader? It could be a lack of organization, could be they spend more time putting out fires and less time focusing on the real performance of a principal, and that is being the instructional leader. So we developed this calendar to help guide the work. It is not a compliance document, as Dr. Shields pointed out, but it is to help guide the work. Please make a copy of it, make it yours, add to it, take away from it, but make it yours, and let's guide the work that principals are doing to change the lives and opportunities of young men and young ladies. All right, the framework for well, first let me talk about those indicator areas or the areas of focus, but the framework behind the work that we do supporting our schools are the 4 domains of rapid school improvement. And those 4 domains of rapid school improvement are turnaround leadership, talent development, instructional transformation, and culture shift. Shouldn't be something new to you all because our governor's turnaround, that is the areas that are addressed in their continuous improvement plans for the governor's turnaround schools. But everything we do from the instructional audit to the support with APLDS and the work that Ann is doing is based on those 4 domains for rapid school improvement. So these are the 4 areas, and have also provided you with some links or hyperlinks there. Okay, well, on one of those slides, there are some hyperlinks. There we go, to get to some resources for the 4 domains for rapid school improvement. And also, there are some hidden slides that accompany our section that provide graphics regarding the accountability of our schools based on the report card. It may provide a little bit more clarity when you start wondering, well, how were we identified? Why were we identified? Some of those graphics really do provide some clarity to help you understand what resulted in the identification of your school or one of your schools in your district. We also provide support with ASIP. Recently did some traveling with federal programs where some professional learning was provided in North Alabama as well as South Alabama for the continuous improvement plan development. Remember the timeline. 1 month from today, ASIPs are due. You should be beyond the envisioning phase of your ASIP and fully engaged in the planning and getting ready to move into the implementation phase of your ASIP. There are quite a few resources that we've provided here on the slide, as well as the timeline for that ASIP development. So reflect, evaluate, and adjust. Determine action, effectiveness, hold collaborative discussions to discuss results, and make decisions to continue or change action. This is part of the evaluation phase, which should have been done the end of last year. I'm seeing where some districts and schools have got a little bit delayed planning and development of their continuous improvement plans. Kind of difficult to move forward if you have not evaluated the work that's been done, the activities, and the success, hopefully the success that the students have shown because of the strategies and activities that your district has engaged in. And of course, with the support we provide, you need to completely understand why we do what we do, because we are blessed every day with the opportunity to help change the course of someone's life with our words, our actions, and our belief in their abilities. By changing our perspectives, we can change lives. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Sue Ellen.
Hello, everyone. I am Sue Ellen Gillen, and I am the coordinator of educational technology. I have the pleasure of working with this amazing group of individuals on today's webinar, along with a fabulous staff in educational technology. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the Focus Act is in full implementation this year.
We want to make sure that everyone is aware that in addition to the requirements that students may not possess a wireless communication device, and LEAs must adopt a wireless communication device policy and internet safety policy, that per Dr. Mackey's memo that was issued on July 1st, a course had to be developed by the Alabama State Department of Education. And our Access Course Development team at the University of Alabama was instrumental in developing this course in less than a month. The Focus Act course should be delivered to all students in grade 7 this year prior to entering the 8th grade. It can be used for students in other grade levels as well. However, it was predominantly designed for students in middle school. In the OSL updates, there is a link, and you can see kind of a screenshot of that on the slide, linked to Focus Act course materials. We have tried really, really hard to make materials available in a way that we're following the old Burger King motto, have it your way. The document provides directions for using materials in the Schoology LMS. There are also direct links to content that is available, so you can place that content in any LMS that you're using, Google Classroom, Canvas, etc. There are also links to PDF versions. These PDF versions are available to print if you so choose. So there are many different ways that you can access this information. The course material can be made available asynchronously, just like indicated in the law, but it can also be used in a variety of ways as you, the LEA, sees fit. So based on some of the requests from districts, there are knowledge checks and activities available in the Schoology group that can be used, but they are not required. There's a screenshot on the side of this slide that shows the links to each unit, but then you can see green icons. These green icons provide additional activities that can be used if that is desired. Because of the way the course was designed, in order to provide multiple ways to use it and access the content, the interactive knowledge checks and questions are not saved as the student completes the content. It's not tracked individually. So as a result, we provided, based on some recommendations from tech directors and teachers and LEA district level administrators, some additional activities if you were to choose those. But please know, again, that these are not required. These are optional. Each LEA will need to indicate in PowerSchool SIS that students have completed this requirement beginning with this year's 7th graders. Stacy Royster provided instructions just today in her newsletter to indicate how you can show students have completed the Focus Act course either individually or you can show that in mass. Those instructions are linked on this slide as well as in Stacy's newsletter. Next up, you will see that we have many programs in EdTech, and we're going to talk about some of those programs in the next few slides. So first up, we have the Access Virtual Learning. As many of you know, Access Virtual Learning is an asynchronous, asynchronous, or hybrid learning web-based courses available to students in grades 6 through 12. All of our courses are free and are aligned to the Alabama Course of Study. In addition, we have Alabama certified teachers that are teaching these courses, and we partner with the LEAs in the schools to provide support to our facilitators, counselors, and students. It is because of this partnership that the success rate of students has grown from 72% in 2021 to 86% this past school year. So working together, we are achieving amazing results for our students across the state. One of our biggest gifts in Access, or like Dr. Shields and I often refer to it as the best kept secret that we don't want kept, is that we can provide every school in Alabama the franchise model. This is all of our content, our videos, dry labs, activities, quizzes, semester exams. This is available to your teachers right now in your buildings at no charge. So if you have emergency certified teachers, do you have long-term subs, brand new teachers to the classroom? Maybe you have teachers looking to differentiate or remediate or accelerate students. These materials can be used by your teachers in your brick and mortar buildings as they see fit to enhance instruction in the classrooms. You can simply click on the link in the slide or scan the QR code and share this with others in your district to access these amazing materials. In addition, we are excited that we have worked closely with our CTE friends on the 3rd floor to establish 6 complete pathways with our CTE course offerings. Our entire Access course catalog is linked on the slide for your convenience, but we also have highlighted specific CTE courses that now link to complete pathways. This will provide students with opportunities that could lead to completer status, which is very important with option B. Your CTE teachers can also use all of our franchise courses in their face-to-face courses as well. In addition, we are excited that in October, we will have a CTE instructor and specialist who's going to be joining our Access team, and this person will be helping to coordinate CTSO opportunities for our students enrolled in Access virtual learning courses. They will also help with compliance monitoring associated with CTE courses to ensure that all of our Access virtual students are prepared for the opportunities for post-secondary education and workforce development. So we're excited about these opportunities, and we want to be able to partner with you and your LEAs to provide these to your students. Next up, we have Alabama Technology in Motion and e-learning. New e-learning courses begin October 2nd. There are ACLD PLUs, APLDS approved courses. There's a plethora of courses available online to meet professional learning needs. Also, each region has a technology and motion specialist. These individuals are ready to serve your district with DLCS integration, professional development, and tech integration ideas. They can tailor PD to meet the needs of your teachers and your administrators. They also offer ACLD PLUs. They're an amazing resource for your school and your district and do a great job. Also, we would like to announce that we are currently seeking someone to join our team as an ATEM specialist for Region 1 at the University of North Alabama. Dr. Karen Thorne is retiring, and we would love to have qualified applicants consider applying for this opportunity in the North region of the state. One of the great things that our ATEMs do is they engage and host innovative events across the state. This is our 2nd annual AgriSTEM event. It will take place on November the 4th at the Peanut Festival Fairgrounds in Dothan. And this is where our ATEMs will provide educational information and hands-on innovative learning opportunities for educators and students to see how technology, science, and engineering are deeply intertwined in today's agricultural practices. There's more information linked on the slide, and we would love for you to share this with your team. Next up, we have Alex. Alex is a brand new, has been given a facelift, and there are many things on the new Alex site. These things include 2023 course of study, resources for science, math and ELA proficiency scales are linked. Sean has already talked about the course syllabi linked on Alex, and those are in the resource repository along with the proficiency scales. We have Nate crosswalks, and there's even an opportunity for Sparkle, which is an interactive a way to interact with students in engaging lessons with Alex. Next up, we have a video that you can watch at your convenience. We also have the time for tech plans. Tech plans are going to need to be updated or reviewed, and evidence provided, and this is due the third Friday in October. Also, there is information regarding tech plans from Dr. Mackey's Midweek Matters from September the 10th. In addition to that, technology inventories are due. Those links were sent out to tech directors in April or May, and so those will also be due at this time. And you can see that we will be providing a memo in the near future regarding the need for the virtual school assurances to be filled. So those are a few upcoming requirements that will need to be completed over the next few weeks. I always try to provide an EdTech tool spotlight. And so today I'm kind of giving you 3 familiar ones that maybe you've used in the past, but have been given a little bit of an upgrade recently. As always, please be sure to check your board policy and check with your technology director or team before using any EdTech tool. This is not an endorsement or a suggestion that you should use these tools. It's only a demonstration that there are innovative tools available, and these are some of the ones that I enjoy using. So the first one is Google's Notebook LM. It has received an upgrade, and now instead of just a podcast, it will take the same information and create a video with audio, visuals, create the slides, everything as quickly and as easily and efficiently as it did with the podcast. In addition, Canva has a feature which has actually been around for a while, but I just discovered it this summer, and that is the Canva Live feature. So many people enjoy creating presentations in Canva, and now, and it has been for a little while, you can actually click the live button when you go to present directly from Canva. This gives you a code, and you can use this to make an interactive slide deck in face-to-face presentations so that participants can join that presentation, and just like you would on a virtual meeting, be able to type things in the chat. It offers them a chat option from a face-to-face environment. And so for those, for students that maybe don't want to raise their hand, or maybe you have many ways that you want to communicate and get feedback instantly in a face-to-face presentation, this is a great way. And last but not least, there is the newest trends. The CETA State Trends Report just came out last week. And the #1 issue that states are talking about in technology is, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. And so the site on the screen, which provides a library of AI prompts that you can go in and search by position, such as administrator or educator, or by topic. It provides you a prompt that where you basically fill in the blank to make it personalized for you, but it allows you to maximize your search in any AI product or tool. So if you're looking, the best way to get the best results is to have a really good prompt. They have tested and tried these prompts in education, and this AI library provides you with a plethora of AI prompts that you can use in any of the district preferred AI tools. So finally, we have our contact information. The QR code will add my contact to your contacts on your phone if you scan it, and know that we are just a call, text, or click away from supporting your EdTech needs. So at this time, I will pass the presentation over to the amazing Dr. Karen Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always a joy to follow my friend Sue Ellen. Let's go. I am excited to roll out or begin to introduce the trilogy, the next 3 evidence-based practices that have been recommended by the Elementary Mathematics Task Force. Up until this point, we've been working with the core 4, which are assessment and feedback, systematic instruction, multimodal instruction, and mathematical language. These next 3 will be trained, our building-based math coaches will receive training on the next 3, the ones that are developing, accomplishing, and innovating this December. So we are super excited to roll these out, and they'll be incorporated into training this summer, coming up at Mega Conference, and rolled out full scale during the next school year. You've probably seen this document before, our student supports. This is really just a way of providing a one-pager to show the process from our screeners, our formative benchmark assessments, our formative assessments, all the way into tiered instruction. This flow chart really shows the relationship between all of these different tools and tiered instruction. We begin with identifying students so that we can give them exactly what they need for all tiers of instruction, particularly for tiers 2 and tier 3 based on data. Then we will use those insights to scaffold instruction and to extend learning to be sure that all students have equitable access to all tiers of instruction. And just as another note, this support is based on what students need. It's an actual process. It doesn't depend on the type of curricular support. This is agnostic of any sort of curriculum. We are focusing on the process so that students get exactly what they need. For student plans and interventions, as I was thinking about this slide, it took me back, and I'm dating myself, back to the old BBSST days when we would meet together and share information about our students and make sure we got them exactly what they needed. I'm thrilled that this process is being transferred to PowerSchool and analytics now. The student plan and the intervention, which do you use? Both. The student plan is really just the file folder, so to speak. That's just really the foundation. We need to ensure that these plans are created for our students according to what they need as determined by the problem-solving team. If a student is receiving tier 3 support, they must have a student plan in place, and those plans must be updated and reviewed during your scheduled PST meetings. Now, what's in the plan is the intervention side. Those interventions are the specific strategies that address student areas of deficiency. Individual plans should not be created. Intervention should not be created. Do not create your own intervention. There are interventions already built in that can be selected based on what students need. These are the actual details. You can choose to use the MTSS interventions platform for students receiving tier 2, but it's not required for this school year. That's an option. Please check with our ARI friends for literacy questions and check in with your OMI regional coordinator if you have specific questions about the math interventions. We do have an intervention guidance document that is available. If you were to scan that QR code, you can see you can click individual spots here for additional information as to how to manage and create your groups, how to create your intervention, adding students and staff, and also collecting tier 2 data. The second page of the document has specific step-by-step guidance in each one of these areas. And the final page really shares ideas and sample templates for parent letters that can be sent home. And it also provides guidance for printing individual reports in PowerSchool. Every student enrolled in an MTS intervention in PowerSchool Analytics and Insights has access to a print report feature with details such as attendance, observations, and progress monitoring data. Documentation of attendance and weekly tier 3 progress monitoring is required this year. There is a new intervention resource approved for tier 3. This joins the ones that have already been recommended by the Elementary Mathematics Task Force. Do the Math by Heinemann. iReady from Curriculum Associates, Zern, and Focus Math from Teacher Created Materials. You will find specific steps aligned to the individual components of each intervention resource, such as this newest edition, Number Worlds by McGraw-Hill. We are super excited to announce a pilot. During this school year, teachers in schools with accomplishing and innovative math coaches who participate in coaching cycles are eligible to earn up to 12 hours of professional learning credit. We do know the importance of job-embedded professional learning, and we are excited to make this available. It only stands to reason that coaches should receive credit for the intense work that they're engaging in with their building-based math coach. So when the teachers engage in and begin a coaching cycle, they enroll in a PowerSchool course that's based on the domain and the grade level that's being selected. Upon completion, the coach will mark that the cycle is complete. This lets your OMI team know that it's time to review the results-based coaching tool, as well as all of the minutes, to be sure that there is a minimum of 720 minutes are recording, and that all the components of the RBCT are there. Following that, OMI will award the teacher professional learning credit in PowerSchool. This has really dynamic implications. It will allow us to track what domains are being selected and connecting all of that information to ACAP scores. We are super excited about this pilot, and we look forward to being able to share more information. One of the hallmarks of the Alabama Numeracy Act is the creation of a new assessment at the undergraduate level for certification. It's called the Foundations of Mathematics Assessment. Now, to be clear, for our pre-service teachers, before they graduate, the 4x12 expectation is still there, which means that students still need 12 hours in mathematics. It's just that those courses now look different. Instead of perhaps finite math or calculus, courses that are far removed from the content that these teachers would actually teach, the new courses that are currently being created integrate content and pedagogy and are much closer to what teachers would actually do on a regular basis. So these courses will ensure that teachers are better prepared to create more math people. Our goal is to revolutionize the assessment process to reflect what teachers do every day. And this is a sample question. You'll see on the left, it's purely math content where you compute and select the correct answer. But on the right side, you can see how the content and pedagogy are synthesized. It's not just do you get the right answer, but if a student makes a mistake, is a teacher able to ascertain the source, the root cause of that misunderstanding? So this is the kind of question that really is tied to what teachers do on a regular basis. And we are hopeful that this kind of assessment will honestly be more accessible to students, and that they will be able to pass this and feel confident once they join our education profession. Additionally, this is the first assessment of its kind in the nation. We are partnering with ETS to create this assessment, and we look forward to it being rolled out in the coming years. On this final slide, I just want to share some upcoming professional learning opportunities. In addition to the coaching support for district leaders, we know that you as district leaders have a viable role, a vital role to play in the success of coaching in our schools. So we want to provide that support through professional learning. Additionally, making sense of mathematics for teaching the small group. There's a book study that's led by a few of our regional coordinators. We look forward to sharing more information as to how mathematics knowledge and expertise can be implemented in small groups, and our evidence-based practices can be infused along the way. And then finally, you're familiar with Everyone Counts. Those sessions are going on as we speak. We know that Everyone Counts for principals and assistant principals. This is available. The PLU is pending. You can earn up to 15 hours of APLDS credit for your attendance, and administrators, principals, and assistant principals in full and limited support schools, your attendance is expected. That concludes my slides, and I'm happy to turn things over to Dodd Hawthorne for our CTE report.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about what's going on in the CTE world. We are very fortunate here in the state of Alabama to have the leaders that we have, and we have so many great things going on, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to work with such great people. So what I'm going to share with you this afternoon, and I will be brief, is just more informational about CTE and what's going on in our world. One of those is updated program guides. You can find these here at this link that's listed here on the slide, or you can go to the Alabama CTE website. Courses are listed alphabetically unless there's a required foundation course, and the highlighted courses are those that are shared with other clusters. One of the other things, especially with the diploma option B, was dual enrollment courses, and those being able to be counted for completer status. And I have to give a big shout out and thank you to our CTE staff for the work that they did in going through all of the dual enrollment courses that are CTE related, and being able to vet them to make sure that they meet the requirements of being a CTE course that can be used for completer status. And you can find that approved list on the website. Here's a link also on this slide here for that as well. The other thing is CTE internship courses. These courses are a 1-credit work-based experience. Remember, they require a minimum of 140 continuous and successful hours of employment. The main thing to remember is that the job placement for the internship course must be in the declared program area's field of study and aligned to students' career objective. Some computer science updates. Remember, the expansion report must be submitted by September 30th of 2025, so that's coming up soon. Also, you can look at the link below to see the 2024-2025 Alabama Computer Science Expansion Report as well, and that information. And you can also go to the QR code to both submit the expansion report or see the 2024-25 Computer Science Expansion Report. And then lastly is the Governor's App Challenge. The registration is open. That is, it promotes STEM, computer science, and innovation. The registration deadline is January 19th of 2026. School submission is due to district coordinators by January 30th, 2026. Remember that it's open to all students, individual or teams, and there can be up to 3 members on the team. And you can see the App Challenge website is there in the QR code. So that is it. I will remind our CTE directors of one more thing, and that is next Thursday, September 25th, is our CTE Directors Fall Conference. That will be at the Marriott in Prattville. So we look forward to seeing you there. So that concludes the CTE portion of this. And Dr. Shields, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne. And I just want to echo what you just said. So when Mr. Hawthorne came to our department last year, I made it like, I like him. He gets it. He's a super authentic leader in our state. And so we have enjoyed being able to collaborate on a number of projects. And I feel certain we just getting started. So a few things, I was taking notes because we have stayed exactly on schedule. So that's always good. But I heard Dr. Garner mention, which I should have said that at the beginning. We always do, because we want to give you everything you need, but we know, we don't have the time to maybe get into the specifics because you may want to just have us come to hang out with you and talk a little bit more about that. So we did hide some slides. So do know that. I'll probably go in and unhide them just so that you'll have them. But do know if there's a few things that you did not see in this presentation that they are there in the slide deck. Another thing that occurred to me that is new is the National Board stipend memo went out, I think last week, and they added a new certificate to be eligible for the additional stipend. In the past, it's just been literacy. For the ELA piece, you had to be like early literacy. And in the memo now, I think it's like 412 if it's the way National Board does it. But the upper grade ELA now is eligible for the additional stipend, provided that is a classroom teacher working in one of those eligible schools. I wanted to mention that. And Sue Ellen, thank you for reminding me about the podcast LM. We've done that the last, I think, couple sessions. This might be the 3rd time we've done it. So we will throw these slides into Google LM to let you hear an abbreviated version of the 100 and gazillion slides that we had. Just remember, it is kind of the Wikipedia version. It's going to go over just some big nuggets of these slides, but it's not going to get into specificity. But if you want to, watch the video on your way home, like I just want to hear it again in a nutshell, know that you have that option. Another thing I thought of is if you look on our if you look on our Office of Student Learning updates, what we have been doing, we had a number of highly attended sessions at Mega Conference, and we know not everybody can go to Mobile for a week, in July. So what we're doing is we are doing kind of a mega redo where we are recording a number of those sessions, either live, you can participate in them live, and then we'll host the recording. Some of them may be pre-recorded, but do check out our Office of Student Learning running updates so that you can participate, watch, share some of the mega sessions we've had across the sections. That we wanted to do a repeat session so that everyone would have access to that information. Sean, what else? Anything else before we send them on their way? Can you think of anything else?
I think today's been great. Today has been great.
It has been.
We're just looking forward to seeing everyone and really helping us work through this new structure and hopefully be able to walk away with some new ideas, new friends, and a new networking group.
Yes, this was very different for us too, but you know, we thought this was a great suggestion, and we thought, let's try it and let's see how it goes. So we hope you've been able to watch it. Just like Jeff said, pause it, like I'm gonna watch the rest of it tomorrow. But do know we will all come together across the state on September 23rd at 9 a.m. at a location near you. And regional staff, state staff, we're all going to spread out across the state to make sure that we're participating in that conversation. But you know, it's not going to be led by us. We are our regional staff, our regional in-service centers. We've asked many curriculum directors just help us kind of keep the conversation going so that it stays organic and true. So that'll be an opportunity for you to connect with your other curriculum folks in your region, and also just have us as sounding board. So we're really, really looking forward to that. And I think the last slide is more, I need to refresh. We'll probably move this to the beginning, but at the very last slide is just, as you've been listening today, if you the questions that you or your colleagues have had, there's just it'll take you 60 seconds. If you have a question remaining that you would like us to address, just to click here, use QR code, and then we already have a running document that as these questions coming in, we will start adding to them. We'll also keep that document live on September 23rd. So when we come together, we know that there will be more questions. So just know that we will be working through that document throughout the entire day. I hope you have a great rest of the day or afternoon. I want to shout out to these amazing educators who have stuck in these 3 hours to make sure that we are giving you the most accurate information. But I was just messaging Mr. Hawthorne because, him being the last, he got to hear it all. Every time I participate in this, I learn so much about each of the sections, and I work with these amazing people every day. So we hope you found this helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on September 23rd. Take care.